statement passes as plain that men are aggressive, that is true, you get. It's a yes and no for me. But if the statement was men are expected to be aggressive, it is.
So, on that note, men are aggressive.
DNA.
Is it a thing that's written in the male DNA
That's a DNA.
that makes them aggressive?
But let me tell you something. So many years, you're a psychologist, so I'm sure you would weigh in on this pretty good. But many years ago, when I came to the discovery of personality types and whatnot, I remember reading about them, and I learned that apparently it's possible not for you to change your personality type, but for you to control certain aspects of your personality type. Especially if you are given to the process because you understand the premise upon which you need to control that aspect of your personality. So, that said, on the point of aggressiveness, I think very strongly, and this is my opinion, usually aggressiveness begets aggressiveness. But sometimes it may be the direct opposite. And usually, from my observation, based on my own, usually it's really the inner ponderings you have about that same thing, like aggressiveness, for instance. Me, growing up, I witnessed quite a lot of aggressiveness in a number of ways. And there were certain things that I purposed to not give myself to, which were a direct opposite of what it was that I was experiencing. So you could argue that my experiences in that case had a counter sort of effect. Like if everything was going south, I was going north. If everything was maybe aggressive, I said, no, I'm not going to be like this. So as a man, I think when you want to stand your ground, as a man, when you want to assert your voice, when you want to be heard and understood, there are times when you're going to need to be strong, which I'm not sure will pass as being aggressive. But again, if you grow up in that kind of setup where aggressiveness was glorified, where if your old man didn't swing a dagger across the room, then there he had not arrived with his disciplinary. So he'll probably take it on. But I don't think all men are aggressive. No, that's not true. That is by far untrue.
There is something around men and aggression that recently came up in a conversation that I had, and it's in relation to men and raising children, punishing children. The idea that we have not talked about this, not at least between us, but the idea that we have that where in conversation we would say, my father. Like, don't go there. He will do, But I recently revisited this thought, and I thought to myself, I said that, but I have no recollection of that man touching me.
Interesting.
Not once. I didn't see him ever touch any of my brothers or sisters. Never. But we had a healthy fear for him. Very healthy.
Wow.
Actually, I don't remember him.
You had the what
beating
if.
Yes. Yes. The what
There's
if.
a what if looming over you your entire life.
In contrast, the person who I will tell you, no jokes. she would show up. So in my mind, the person who I see can be properly aggressive, Chidekao. But so I wonder why the association. Is it because people speak like that? Or is it because men can actually be very aggressive?
No, I think for me, the word, that word is that word has sister words to it.
Mm.
You get? So, because aggressiveness can be a trait, a character that you can grow in because it's required in life.
Mm-hmm.
But there are words like resistant. There are words like persistence. So there are those words which make you live life when life does not want to be lived. Men are expected to be those things, whichever word you're going to use. Sometimes you need to be aggressive. Sometimes you just need to be hard. Sometimes you just need to know that things are going to change, even when things are falling apart. I don't know if
in the context of facing and confronting the issues of life. Yeah.
Yeah, so me, when they say men are aggressive, I might just switch the word aggressive to so many things. Because you can be like you can be married and the money you're making is just not enough, and certain things are needed but you just can't get them. You get, and you look at the female that God blessed you with, and she's worried and all that. For you, you're kawa. You get my point? You're like, it's okay. I'm good with that. You know, I know a guy who just said one day, he's like, you know what, my kids are not going to see their judges because I don't have a car. They will go when I get a car, and that is it. Period. You get my point? And it's like, whether I get a car in 3 years, they will go in 3 years.
That's an
But
actually
I'm
interesting
not
thing
going,
to say,
to
because it highlights something that I think men do a lot that doesn't get noticed. And I know we were talking about aggression. Everyone is thinking about they are aggressive towards someone. But I think the person who suffers the most from male aggression is the guy himself. Like you turn your guns on yourself, because that guy, when he said they are not going to see, he turned all the guns on him.
Thank you.
His wife, his kids, his parents.
So you see now the
Her
thing
parents.
I'm saying, the persistence, that at that particular point, you've mentioned a statement that appears to be mean, but you're ready. They're going to tell your in-laws that they refused. You get my point. But you will take it in. You get my point. So again, it introduces in another word. That another word you might say that men are calculated. The guy is just trying to calculate. I'm just moving. Do you know how in our society, the way where we live vis-a-vis where our parents live, sometimes it's a journey of about 3 hours, man. About 3 hours. So the guy calculates through, and he's like, man, I'm moving with these guys, and then I'm going there, and then I'm doing. You get my point. So men can be aggressive. Again, it's a form of aggression when you dictate and say this is not going to happen. You get. But there is something good, there's something bad, you know? So at the end of the day, I feel if the statement passes as plain that men are aggressive, that is true, you get? It's a yes and no for me, but if the statement was men are expected to be aggressive, it is. It is true, men should be expected to be aggressive. And if you're not aggressive, someone is going to teach you. If you're lucky, and no one teaches you, life itself will teach you to be aggressive. You know, there's nothing like a soft path for a man, excepting you come from, you come from a very good family or something, a money-filled background. But again, aggressiveness is just not about money; it's about life.
It's about life.
You know, we've been in school with kids.
I mean, if you're going to defend things, you're going to have to express a form of aggression. And for the record, I want to say that we're not discussing the word assertive. we intentionally talked about aggression. Yeah. Okay.